What is up, fellow accountants? And if you're new here, hi, my name is Garabo and welcome to the Accounting Girl. And if you're a returning subscriber, it is always lovely to have you back, because that means you are a regular subscriber and you're my day one. Before we get into the video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. You guys have been subscribing and it's so nice to see my channel grow and to see people watch my videos and enjoy my content, because it makes making these videos so much more nicer and better. So let's get into the video. I'm gonna take off my glasses because sometimes I want to wear them, but I feel like you guys can see the reflection of the light in them, and I think if it annoys me, then it annoys you. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you all the tips and tricks of how to prepare for your SAICA articles interview. So I had my first SAICA articles interview in January of this year. I think it's been about 3 months now. It was like literally the second week of January, and I was really blessed enough to get the job, like literally on the spot. That was like my first ever corporate interview, and I had gotten the job, and it was with one of the big four firms, the big four accounting firms in the country. So for me to even be able to score the trainee contract, that means the things that I was doing in my interview were definitely 100%, because that was my first ever corporate interview. Before that, I had zero experience, all of that. With the tips that I'm giving today, I'm not going to tell you exactly how my interview went, because I did sign a verbal confidentiality clause during that interview, so I cannot say what exactly they asked me or what exactly happened. So I have my iPad with me. As you guys can see, I have all my notes on here about, you know, what I want to speak about today. So the first tip that I have is to watch YouTube videos. There's a YouTube channel that I specifically watched, where I think her name is Figile. I will put her name somewhere on the screen. And that video was the video that really made a difference for me in regards to preparing for my SAICA articles, because she had given me like step by step things that I didn't know were possible. I didn't even know that at some companies you write tests. I know KPMG you write a test. I think at BDO you write a test, and at medium and smaller companies they make you write a test. They even make you write a verbal test, which is one of the points. When preparing for your SAICA articles, please make sure that you brush up your skills on your auditing assertions. They will ask you transactions. Not at every company, but they can ask you that. It is a possibility, so you need to brush up on all of your transactions, whether it's all of your assertions, whether it's accounts and balances or transactions and events. I know they mainly like asking about inventory, so you really need to know your stuff when it comes to that. Another thing is that they're definitely going to ask you, or sort of loop into the whole SAICA accounting ethics, the ethics that you must have as a chartered accountant. So before you interview, you really need to study those things. Like I remember I studied the night before for my interview, and I wrote down all of my assertions. I went through them. I knew them like the back of my hand. Apart from your ethics, they're definitely going to ask you about your academic history. So you really need to be honest about your academic history. I think if you have previous qualifications, it would be good when they do ask you about those previous qualifications, for you to kind of loop in how that previous qualification helps you as a chartered accountant. I studied psychology, so the ethics of a clinical psychologist and a chartered accountant mirror one another. So I definitely married the two careers with one another, and I emphasized how my previous degree really has grinded in my ethics just as a person, which coincide with the ethics of a chartered accountant. Another thing is that you need to make sure that you are read up on the world news, especially financial news, because they definitely will ask you what is happening in the world, or they might ask you one significant event that is happening maybe in our country, or that is happening, you know, globally, or they will ask you what is a significant financial event that has currently happened, that you would like to talk about. You know, what are your thoughts on that? Because they really want to see you as a person, your perspective about world news. And do you read the news? Do you know what's going on? So you have to make sure that you have at least one case study that you're reading right now. I know for me, I wanted to talk about the scandal that is currently going on with JP Morgan, in which they actually bought a business. I forgot what the girl's name was because this was months ago. I even saw it like this week. The girl had essentially sold JP Morgan a fraudulent company, a company that did not exist, which then goes back to how you can tie your world news back into the assertions, because as a chartered accountant, you have to make sure that your transactions exist. Does the business actually exist? Does the money actually exist? Where is it? Does it actually belong to you? Which is one of the things that JP Morgan had failed to do, and now they had bought a company with millions of dollars that does not even exist, that has ghost clients. Like, they had really just, if you really want to know about that story, you can read up about it. But that's one of the stories that I wanted to touch on during my interview, but I didn't. Another thing is that you really need to read up on the company that you are interviewing with. You need to read their mission statement. You need to read up their goals as a company. You need to read up what are they actually doing in the world right now. I know a lot of bigger companies, mostly, they will have on their sites what are the things that they're doing right now trying to change the world. So you really need to read up on these things, because you also want to see whether you and the company are going to mesh well. And this then links back into the question where they ask you, how will you benefit the company? Or they will either ask you, how do you benefit the company? And they will ask you, how does the company benefit you? What is it about the company that attracts you to it? So that's why you really need to know the mission statement of the CEO or the CFO or the chief partner. You know, you really need to research on these people. So you really need to read, you need to go on the sites, and you really need to read up about the company. Also read up on what are the activities that they are currently engaging in. With the bigger companies, you can talk about things from overseas, you can talk about things currently, you know, all of those things, and just talk about how, you know, me and you will get along really well, because I see that you guys are actually currently doing this for women, you know, women in tech, women in STEM, you know, those kind of things. You want to be in a company that uplifts women, and I'm a woman and I'm a black woman. Guys, you can literally go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. That is why you really need to read up about the company, because you will impress your recruiter if you talk about the things that I'm telling you to talk about. And then I'm gonna talk about the very much so infamous question of, tell me about yourself. Do not talk about yourself as an individual. You need to talk about yourself in your academic aspect, in your career aspect. You need to touch onto those things, touch on your goals, touch on what are the benefits about you. That is one thing that I've noticed that these recruiters do, is they're trying to see, are you going to be an honest individual? What else? Another thing is, guys, it is very easy to get a place to do your traineeship if your marks are good, because your marks do half the job. If you get an interview to do your traineeship, you're literally 80% into the job. So you have to take that interview extremely serious. You need to go there and impress those people. Don't say I didn't tell you. Now we have reached the end of the video, and I'll see you in my next sit down video. Bye.